boys, so this is the last video for this lesson. So we're going to be doing some examples on the simple interest rate formula that we wrote down a minute ago. So the first example, it says the interest on a loan of $2,500 over 4 years is $450. So they're actually telling you there that the interest, blah, 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 is $450. Okay, now they're asking you to calculate the flat rate of interest per annum. Flat means simple. So they want the simple interest rate. So that's the formula we wrote down a minute ago. We'll copy it down. Now the interest that you've earned is $450, but that was earned over 4 years. For this formula, you need to have that as a yearly amount of interest, not the interest over 4 years. So we're going to divide by the 4 years to find out how much interest you're earning in 1 year. Then on the bottom goes the principal, the loan amount, times by 100. Now if you can work that out first, you don't need to. If you want to put all of that and calculate it just like that, you can. Otherwise you can work that out first, and the final answer is 4.5. Just remember to put percent per annum on the end, because that's actually what you're finding. A simple interest rate measured in percent per annum. Okay, looking at example 2. Katie took out a loan of $12,000 over 3 years. If her total repayments amounted to $18,750, then the first thing they want you to calculate is the interest charged. So the repayments that we pay to the bank have to be the full loan amount plus the interest. So if that amount of money paid back includes the $12,000, then we have to take that off to find out how much of that money we paid back was interest. And we've just found out that we paid $6,750 to the bank in interest. So remember that interest is an extra payment that you're making. You can't just borrow $12,000 and pay back $12,000. There must be interest included in that. So that extra amount that you're paying back, that is interest. Okay, now in part 2, they again want you to find the flat rate of interest. So it's a simple interest rate. Use your formula. Have a look back at the question. We've just worked out the interest for the whole thing was $6,750. But that was over 3 years. So we have to divide by the 3 years to find out how much interest was paid in 1 year. So that's what we're doing on the top there. On the bottom is your loan amount, which they told you was $12,000, times by 100, and that's the answer you're going to get. It's a big interest rate. It's a lot of money to be paying back, but that's the sorts of interest rates that you're going to have on these sorts of loans. 18.75% per annum. Look how much extra they paid. All right, now we're going to do a couple of more difficult examples that are based on the original simple interest calculations that we've been doing. So in both of these, they're asking for a time, not an interest. So in number 1, for how many years will $4,200 need to be invested to earn $200 interest if the interest rate is 2.5% per annum? So they're not asking you to calculate the interest. They've told you what the interest is going to be. It's $200. So we're still going to use the simple interest calculation that we do, which is to find simple interest. We get the percentage, 2.5 over 100. We times by the amount that we're investing, the principal, 4,200. And then we normally times by the number of years over here, if this is per year. But we don't have that. That's what they want to know. So we're going to put an X there, and we'll find out what that X is at the end of this. Over here on the left-hand side, the actual interest has already been given to you. It's $200. So that goes in that spot. Now, after you look at that line, just do on your calculator the sorts of things that you can see to do. Okay, so on your calculator, you can calculate this part and get 105 worked out. Now it looks like a really easy equation to solve. So we're going to get rid of our times 105 over to the other side and divide by 105. And if you put that in your calculator, to be exact, it's 1 and 19/21 years. You could write it as a decimal, but it does go on a bit, so it's not accurate. That's the accurate answer in years. Okay, number 2 is a very similar question, except that they're asking for how many days. So we're going to start it the same way. Simple interest equals, here's your interest rate, 4%, 4 over 100, times by the amount that we are investing, which is $20,000. That's our principal, so that goes there. I hope you can see. I'm just going to move this because it's... All right, that might be better for you to look at. All right, so just quickly copy that down or freeze it. Now, when we're looking at this one, this first line is the same as the last one. The interest goes in here. The 4 over 100, the 20,000 we're investing, which is your principal, and we times by X at the end. So we're going to go through the same working as before. Work this part out that you can see to calculate. Use your calculator to do it. Then get rid of this, times 800, and come over here and divide by it. That ends up giving you 3/8, or you could write the decimal if you wanted to. But that's in years. They want to know how many days. So right at the end, after you've got how many years it is, you're just going to convert that into days. We're going to a smaller unit, so we times by 365 because there's 365 days in a year. And the calculator will come up with 136 7/8 days. Now, you can't actually invest any money for 7/8 of a day. So because of that, and we really want to earn this $300 interest, we'll have to go the extra bit. We're not rounding off, but we are rounding up. So you always, in this case, would go up. So we have to put it in for 137 days. That will give us slightly over the $300 interest that we want to earn, but you can't just invest it for part of a day. A day is the shortest amount of time that you can invest in. Okay, and that's the end of this lesson. Now, you have no homework, so you don't need to do anything extra apart from write the notes down and understand what we've been doing. Those of you that are behind in the Mathletics, I suggest you go to Mathletics and catch up on the work you haven't done there, because school has given you a bit of a week off homework this week, but that may change next week. Okay, so enjoy it while you can.